michezo mbalimbali, shangilia kwa furaha. Michezo huimarisha amani, michezo huimarisha mapendo. Afrika Mashariki tusonge mbele.
Burundi was honored to host the first edition of the EAC Games from 16th to 13th August 2018, a real success. Indeed, 2 weeks before the opening ceremony, the capital city, Bujumbura, was already dressed in the colors of the EAC, the flags of the 6 countries that make up the East African community, namely Burundi, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and South Sudan. At each corner of the street, banners announcing the event on the facades of houses and faces are visible. This is the result of the 20th meeting of the Council of Ministers of the East African Community that met in Arusha on March 18, 2010, and asked the EAC to organize regularly in collaboration with the partner states, the private sector, and civil society involved in sports. The 16th August 2018 was the expected moment, and the opening ceremonies were held at SOS High School of Bujumbura. The EAC anthem is audible around the school from the beginning of the afternoon and attracts the public who have come to see the guests and admire the festivities usually prepared on special occasions. The opening ceremonies were honored by the presence of high personalities, and the second Vice President of the Republic of Burundi, His Excellency Dr. Joseph Butore, officially launched the Games. It was therefore an opportunity to sing the national anthem of Burundi, the host country. After the anthem of the EAC, the parade followed, and the cheerleaders, the drummers, followed one another in front of the guests. Several speeches were made by the authorities who succeeded each other on the podium and were focused on the integration, the eradication of poverty, unity among people, and development through sport.
C'est en souhaitant plein succès à ces compétitions et de bonnes performances pour les sportifs participants que nous déclarons solennellement ouverte la première édition du tournoi sportif des Jeux des pays de la communauté est-africaine prévu au Burundi du 16 au 30 août 2018. Vive la communauté est-africaine, vive le Burundi, vive le sport, que Dieu vous bénisse. Je vous remercie.
The second Vice President of the Republic of Burundi kicked off the games of the first edition of the EAC Games by a gala match in volleyball, Vyanda vs Bisoto. Women's and men's volleyball, karate, rugby, boxing, netball, tennis, and the half marathon were the 8 games on the agenda. In football, only women's teams from Tanzania and Burundi participated in this competition. The Tanzanians in white jersey show the Burundian in green jersey that they are the champions of Sekafa. Tanzania beat Burundi 8-1, and most of the goals were marked by Sutamia Abdallah. Three days later, it was the return match. The Burundians wanted to save the honor by playing a defensive game. It wasn't that easy because the players like Asha Rashidi, Mwara Hamis Omar, but especially Fatima Issa, have made a short work of the game. A score of 5-0, a real correction, and of course the gold medals returned to the Tanzanian, and a consolation of Burundians who collect silver medals. In karate, 3 countries were represented at this first edition, namely Burundi, Kenya, and Tanzania. In the individual kata, the Burundians were breathtaking. The first 4 places returned to them. In individual kumite, whether in the 60 kgs, the under 67 kgs and the under 75 kgs, the 84 kgs and the more than 84 kgs, the first places came back to Burundians. In the team kata or the individual kata, the Burundians lamentably dominated the visitors. At the end of the karate competition, Burundi won all the gold medals. In boxing, 2 countries presented pugilists, Tanzania and the host country Burundi. 9 fights were scheduled over 2 days. The last fight was a first in the history of Burundian boxing. The fight opposed the Burundian Habyarimana Ornella and Nali Jalia from Uganda. The judges have witnessed a great fight. Ornella varied the shots left and right, and the jury decided a victory of the Burundian.
Yes, they are important for us as people from the East African region for integration, for friendship. Our children travel a lot within these countries, so it is important for us to create friendships and to have families all over East Africa region when you travel and meet and just interact, share culture, share sports, and meet together as families.
These games are really important in fostering our cultural differences, our political differences, such that at the end of the day we promote unity and love amongst the East African countries.
In volleyball, 2 countries, Burundi and Uganda, have responded to this first edition of the EAC Games, 3-0 of Ugandan girls.
I think this game is very important. If you see people have been around enjoying the game, it brings a relationship between the East African countries, and it's very good we have such a game.
In netball, 3 countries, Burundi, Uganda and Tanzania, participated in this first edition of the Games of the EAC. The public used to see netball games pushed their players to show a good game. The much faster Ugandan women won the match on a score of 33-53. The award ceremony was a real celebration. Gold for Uganda, silver for Tanzania and bronze for Burundi.
Mara yangu ya kwanza pako pazuri, hali ya hewa sawa na kule, kwa hiyo haijatuathiri. Kila kitu kiko poa hapa, sababu kinaendana na kwetu.
In the half marathon, the departure was given from Kajaga west of the city of Bujumbura. A total of 18 boys and 16 girls from Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya and Burundi had entered the competition. Everything was gathered to make it for the runners. Assistants of all kinds, suppliers and even ambulances were mobilized. From the start, we noticed that the race will be very fast. The public is at the rendezvous despite the early hour. Around 10 kilometers, Kenyans stand out, but there is in the group a Ugandan, number 19. On arrival, Kenyans occupied the top places. Joseph Mbatha first in 1 hour, 3 minutes, 56 seconds. Felix Shemoge of Uganda second in 1 hour, 4 minutes, 3 seconds. And third, Titus Kipkoske in 1 hour, 4 minutes, 11 seconds. For girls, the pace was also very high. 6 girls stand out from the 10 kilometer. These are bibs 37, 36, 33, 32 and 19. Throughout the race, encouragement has not stopped until the finish. The victory went to Lydia Njeri, the Kenyan, in 1 hour 15 minutes 52 seconds, followed by Naomi Vati in 1 hour 16 minutes 27 seconds. Despite the early hour, the medals were awarded to athletes by the highest authorities of the EAC countries. In rugby, 2 countries took part in the competition, namely Uganda and host country Burundi. After the warm-up session and the usual prayer, the Burundians rushed to attack and scored first. It was without counting on the speed and physical strength of the Ugandans. These ones, in a period of time, dominated the Burundians, who have not exceeded the median until the end of this rugby at 7. The final score is 35-6 for Ugandans. In the return match, the Burundians could not do better despite the public's encouragement. Final score 53-0. The gold medal went to the Ugandans and the silver went back to the Burundians. In tennis, 3 countries, Uganda, Kenya and Burundi, were represented. The competition was very lively and spread over 3 days. The public had the pleasure of attending the gentlemen and the double gentlemen, but also the simple lady and the double ladies. For the girls, the first place went to Burundi. Second place was taken by Kenyans. For men, the first place went to Kenyans. Burundi had the second place. Third place went to Uganda. For the last day, the dojo of the Judo Federation that was going to host the closing ceremony was in the colors and flags of the countries that make up the EAC. Caps and medals were clearly visible to celebrate the happy event as it should, under the music of the games of the EAC. The drums that are the pride of Burundi were there to welcome the authorities of the EAC. The first Vice President of the Republic of Burundi, His Excellency Gaston Sidimwo, was the guest of honor to these ceremonies. In the speeches delivered respectively by the chairman of the Committee of Sports and Culture, the Secretary General of the EAC, the Minister of the EAC Affairs, and the first Vice President of the Republic of Burundi, the key word that came back was the importance of these games, integration and development through sport.
Michezo hii inatupa faida nyingi kwa nchi, sababu inageuza sura ya nchi. Sababu wahalifu wamezungumza mengi kuliko kwa nchi yetu. Sasa wenyewe wakikuja hapa wanajionea na macho yao, wanaona utofauti. Nimesema hapa kusadiki kwa Tomani kujionea. Sasa wamefika nyumbani, wakaona hali ilivyo. Wamemaliza wiki 2 zote wako hapa Bujumbura, wanacheza michezo mbalimbali na hakuna hata mtu mmoja amepata ajali yoyote. Hii inaonyesha sura nzuri kwenye nchi, na wakitoka hapa tunajua watakuwa mabalozi wa nchi yetu.
The importance of these games is to bring East Africans together. It's one of the channels through which the East African Community Council of Ministers is so important for bringing the 6 partner states together to enable the citizens interact and they foster social cohesion amongst themselves. So this first edition, which has been held in Burundi, has seen the 4 partner states out of 6 meeting in Burundi for 14 days. And they have shared meals, they have shared pitches together, they have shared the markets, dance together. And so it has really brought them together to ensure that we foster the unity that we long for the African integration.
In the first place, I really have to express my satisfaction with the way that the games went. So far we had most of our countries represented here. We had 4 countries. And we had many sportsmen and women who showed up. So we are very happy that they were able to compete in a very peaceful atmosphere. And for a first edition, we are very, very happy.
Jangu sebo, jangu nyabo, dukomeza mahoro, bichi